this one, so I'm going to get this guy all started here. This one today is going to be probably I'm going to probably end up doing a red color, and I think it's going to be pretty sweet when I'm done. So right now I'm just going to start hitting in the areas. When I normally draw a car, I'm going to be starting in with the chrome areas on this as well. So just kind of laying in some of the color real fast on here. Laying that down, and then I'll go back in and touch that up and things like that. Hopefully you guys are doing pretty good tonight. I had some time to draw, so I figured I'd come down here and give it a shot. So these cars are pretty iconic, so this one's going to be a lot of fun. So again, when I do chrome, I'm doing the tighter reflections on the top are going to reflect the sky, and then you build everything around that. Stuff on the bottom is going to reflect the ground, so that's why that's looking like that. Hey, you're welcome. So as I said, yeah, when you're doing chrome, it's definitely a reflective surface, so it's always something to just to take into consideration and remember. When you start adding your colors on top and you're going to build them up, you can practice. Or another cool thing is go on Pinterest and take a look at chrome. Do a search or do a bunch of saved pins dealing with chrome and how the light reflects off that, because that's actually really cool, because you can take those things and then learn from them as you're developing it. So as I said, from here, when I start adding this white in here, this is where it starts popping. Making these spokes in here come alive a little bit better. Just building up the colors in here right now for these pipes. I just finished my general lead drawing. If you guys hadn't had a chance to see that one yet, I just posted it on my YouTube channel. Do a search for micahdoodles, and you can see that one. That one turned out pretty cool, and pretty happy with the way that turned out. And I actually had a client that bought that one, so that was a commission piece. There we go. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that one was pretty cool. I really liked how that one turned out. It turned out pretty sweet. So this one's gonna be pretty cool too. I love drawing these Shelby cars. Well, this is like the second one I've drawn before, but the cool thing is you get that chrome in there. You get that one. You get that chrome in there. Get it all nailed down. Make it look really cool, and then everything you kind of build it around it. So I've kind of got my rough shape going on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to outline that with my Sharpie marker because I kind of know how things are going to be heading. So I'm going to go ahead and outline that, guys. Just a second. And this is what really makes... This pen's dead, sorry. This is what really makes this car come alive, is putting that black outline on it. And then taking the colored pencil around it. So, have you had a chance to do any colored pencil work? All right, so I'm just going to build this guy up like this. And I'll probably go really fat on the exaggerations on this, but that's what I want to do. I think it'll look better. Same thing in here as well. So all my 100% black spots, I'm just, okay. All right, go ahead, Jess. All my spots that are going to be completely dark, I'll just darken those ones in as I'm going to do. And then probably use a different Sharpie. That one's dying on me here. Cool, awesome. You should send them to me. Send them to my email address, micah@micahdoodles. I'd love to see them. So what I'm going to probably do on this is I'm going to darken this guy up as well, because these are tires underneath here, but when I add everything to it, it'll be there we go. So on this one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add some flames on here, coming out of these pipes. All right, I'll probably have to pick up another marker too. Looks like this marker's dying as well, but hey, that's okay. It's kind of the boring part right now, just kind of outlining things, but it's going to come together. This drawing's not upside down, is it? I hope. Okay. Yep, coming to life. It's going to be pretty sweet when it's done. I'm excited for this one. Good, thank you. Yeah, that's the thing. I was hoping that it wouldn't be upside down. I always try to remember which way I place my camera, but sometimes what happens is if you tilt your camera when you set it up, it tweaks the way that it looks. so it doesn't come out exactly like you thought it would. So anyway, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to start going on these headlights, kind of adding in some highlights and some details as well. You know, one of the cartoon things that I learned last time that I did that I really liked was I kind of did a little weird, like it was kind of a mistake, but I went like this through the middle of it, and it just seemed to work. So I'm sticking with that game plan. There we go. All right, so for this car, what we're gonna, oh, actually, let me finish up my chrome. Sorry, I keep getting ahead of myself. You know, one of the things that's exciting when you like to draw, because then, you know, that's the thing is if you're going to get a chance to draw, you want to enjoy what you do. And so I can definitely say that this new style that I've been working on, I really have been enjoying it a lot, which makes for drawing fun. And I think that's real important. It's tough when you get to a spot and you stop enjoying what you really like. Then you feel like you're just doing it because, especially if you're doing it for money. Yeah. So I've been able to do this, and you know, clients have been, you know, wanting to buy them, and which has actually been helpful. But this one right now, this isn't for a client. This is just personal drawing that I've been wanting to do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tackle that. But again, all my drawings are for sale. If people wanted an original, you can do that. On this one, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of this blue color over it like that to give it some depth and some shadow as well. All right, roughly, and then we're going to be probably hitting some orange in here. I'll add some white in there as well. And those lights. A couple highlights. And I always have a handful of pencils when I work, so that I can kind of grab them real quick and grab what I need. Good. Now what I want to do is that's going to be shadowed in there, so I'll tackle that here in just a second. A little darker and blue in here. Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do now on this Cobra is let me add in. Sorry, I'm thinking through as I'm working on stuff what I'm going to put in here. I want that to go in here. I'm just darkening this up because I'm actually going to fill this in with a gray, because this is going to be what you see through the glass. So it's going to be a little darker. But it's easier for me to sketch over these lines if I can see them. So that's why I'm putting them in a little darker, because this pen, it's harder to draw with the pen on top of the charcoal, or not the charcoal, but the wax from these pencils. So I've got it already set right now where it's easier to put that base kind of black down, because then I can draw over it really easy, and that, you know, as you can see right here, that white just really will stand out really, really nicely on there. So that's why I set that up like that. So I'm just going to kind of build up a couple things in here first. Get this chrome where I want it to be. A couple spots. Like that. I'll probably add in a little bit of purple in here in this black line because I really like the way that turned out last time as well. Adding some of that purple shadow or that blue shadow in the blue. Well, not in the blue, but over the black. Kind of made it stand out. Pretty cool. Sometimes it's those little things you find out while you're just drawing. You're like, hey, you know what? This color combination works really well, so I'm going to use it again. Give it a shot. See how it does. Now what I'm doing on here is I don't want to go completely black here because I'm going to have flames coming out of there. So I'm kind of waiting on that one right now. So what I'm going to do now is I want to get this red on here. So I need to find my lighter shade of red that I'm going to use. Here it is. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that guy down as my base coat over the top of everything here. So I'm going heavy, fading it down, pushing on here, and then letting it kind of fade as it goes down, like that. And I'll add another color on top of that and build that one up as well. And what I'll do on here, this one will be a different color red inside here. This is going to be a darker shadow that I'm going to roll from this side over. So I will put a couple hard lines in there. Those hard lines are really where my shadows are going to be, or where my reflections are going to be. So I'm going to go a little darker there, and then kind of feather those guys up like this. There you go, something kind of like that. Probably what I'll do also to add a little bit of emphasis is I probably will go over those shadow areas with another color just so that it stands out even more. So that's going to be light right there. So what's going to happen is when I hit my white in here, where'd my white pencil go? For my reflection, it'll really start coming alive. I'll add a little bit of black line on there as well. You can kind of see how it's starting to pop. I'll put a couple little highlights in here. Sorry about that. That's too bad. Periscope is freezing. Hate it when that happens. Hopefully it's not on my end, but take my yellows, build that up. go really strong white in here. Starting to come together. These blues are really, I like the shadow on these guys, so I'm going to kind of save these guys till later to highlight and put over some of the things that I want to like draw in some of those shadows in here. There we go. All right, now that I know where my tire's going, I'm going to go ahead and darken that up. There we are. probably go back in here and add some of these hard black lines to this chrome just to make it really kind of pop. Yeah, I'm using some of these black lines here because I'm going to go over those with white. And those will really stand out when I hit them. That color. Thank you. You know, just kind of, a lot of it's just kind of practicing to figure out, okay, you know, I know I got to use this black pen on here, and what it's going to do is I don't want to overkill it with that black pen, but I need to see kind of where my lines are, and this black line really is going to make it pop out, and then I can take my white and touch up over those black lines and give it some more depth as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation. But I definitely have to have that black line behind it. If I don't, it's going to look like I'm just going to be missing out on some things, and so I need to do that. So just want to make sure that's taken care of on there. So I definitely want on here, this is where I need a thicker black line, because what I'm going to do is it's hard to put colored pencil on colored pencil, especially if it's an opposite color. So this white, an easier way for this white to stand out on here is going to be for me to lay down that black, because then I can actually trace it around, and I want that rear view mirror to stand out, so I'm going to need to put a white outline around it so it stands it around from this black. And so because you've got two light colors next to each other, it's important then to put a darker color below it like this, because then what that's going to do is that's going to make that color, it's going to make that rear view mirror stand out a little bit. That makes sense? So anytime that you have a light color next to or two light colors next to each other, and you want the light color to, one of the colors to stand out, you're going to need to darken the one below it a little bit, just so it pops out. Hopefully that makes sense. Like I did right here to darken that up, so it's not, that color's not too close to the same value as the other one. I'm going to do is I'm going to build this color up in here a little bit. I'm not happy with what's going on here, so I'm going to go ahead and redo it. So I'm going to add my white to there, so that's why I'm doing this, covering it all up. I'll let that dry, and then I'll hit it with my white pencil. Probably what I'll end up doing here too is going darker here, just so this roll bar stands out. There we go. Actually, let's just go like this. Let's just darken that in. Now I'm about ready to start adding some whites in here. Thank you. So this is kind of cool when I basically take now this, where that black line is. I don't want to go over my black line. I want to leave my black line because that's going to be a defining spot on this car. But yet what I want to do is I want to go just to next to it. Because this tire's in motion, I want to put some smoke on it, but I'm going to have to run upstairs real quick and sharpen my pencil again because my white is about dead. It's almost completely flat. Alright, so make sure I'm okay here. So what we're going to need to do here, I'm going to run upstairs really quick. Let me outline this real quick. Thank you. All right, let me kick this guy in here. All right, I'm gonna be right back. I need to grab sharpen the. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start outlining this guy. Some of these areas that I really want to make stand out. There we go. All right, so now what I want to start doing is figuring out where my tire runs down here. I'm going to go ahead and put some smoke and flames coming out of here. Not smoke, but put this. This is going to come down like that. There we go. So you start adding these little white details that really things start coming alive. But you don't want to go straight over your black line. You want to go just underneath it. So that way things begin to, because you don't want to take away that line. You don't want to touch that color. So leave that black line underneath there. So that way it shows up. Same on that too. I want this white to separate that color of that red. So I'm definitely going to outline it pretty hard. There we go. So now it's starting to come together. And then same thing up here. I'm going to go ahead and leave my black line here. I'm going to fill in a little shadow line here on top. I'll use my white paint pen on some of these areas, so that's why I'm not hitting them yet. But anywhere where I want that exhaust pipe to stand out as well, I'm going to hit that. Now I'm also going to smoke these tires. So what I want to do on that is I'm going to go ahead and basically kind of, since you start creating circles, you know, where your smoke would kind of be rolling up your tires. That's kind of how I do that. And then I'll go in there and I'll fill in those circles. Something like this. And then I'll kind of, where the shape is, I'll go in and I'll begin to do the same type of texture where it's darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. That's where my light source would be. Let me go ahead and throw down a ground here so that I can add white over it. There we go. So now basically, I'm same thing, throwing those circles down, developing where that smoke's going to go, building it up this way. And then after I figure out where my smoke's going, then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to press harder on the bottom. So I'm kind of adding a little bit of depth to those to that smoke coming off those tires. I can do the same thing with this as well. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to basically create some smoke coming off the back of the tires this way. You can always go back in and outline them and things like that, but I think for this one I'm not going to worry about outlining or anything like that. Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to start using my paint pen on this to start hitting some of the highlight areas that I want to really attack. These chrome spots or anything where I want that chrome to really pop. There we go. There we go. That's enough kind of shimmering and shining going on. Then after I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and take my thin Sharpie, and I'm going to begin to go in here where the black is, because this pen will not do well on the wax from the marker, but it will do well on anywhere where there's a black line. So this is why I left this thing in here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace where these Krager rims are here, just at the inside, so this begins to really stand out. So you can see that rim really just popping out now. Okay. Let's see here. Same thing with inside of here. There's black in there. I want to emphasize that the inside of what's going on here. I could probably add some white in there. I probably will. Same thing here. I need to add some white in there, just so that I break it up, because it's too close. That color is too close to what's going on. It needs to stand out a little bit from there. There we go. There we go. So now it's starting to come together, and then I can add a couple little white highlights here where I want to focus on what's going on here. There you go, and that white's really going to make that stuff pop. So this is more of an opaque white, so it's really going to do a good job. And then again, I can go back in here and touch up if I want to add where some of these smoke things were. I want to go hot white in here, build that up. Same thing here. Alright, start tackling on this stuff again. Some of the smoke in here. I did want to add a white rim line around here. And I do need a new gel pen soon, because this one definitely is on its way out. So Just some pretty simple tricks. Obviously, push hard, and then feather it out as you're going along. Just kind of remember where your light source is. Always kind of keep that consistent. You'll do fine. Now what I'm going to do in here to change up the color a little bit so that I can tell this is a background image is I'm just going to shade this in slightly like this. I can always probably go with that blue. And that's going to distinguish the sidewall of that tire. There we go. Add a couple little dots in here, I guess. There we go. Stuff's coming together. All right, let me throw a shadow down here on what's happening with this light or this rearview mirror. I'm going to draw a shadow right there. I'm going to begin to develop more of my shadows over here as well on this car. So I want that tire basically over that. So, all right, guys, I think that is about it. Add a couple motion lines on here. I think we're probably good to go. those blinkers. All right, so what I'm going to do now here with these lights is I really want to emphasize there we go. That looks cool. All right, I'll go ahead and sign my name, and I think that I'm done. So. Hey guys, thanks for joining. I'm all finished. I'm going to have this thing on YouTube tomorrow on this time-lapse video. So thanks guys.